All right, so now we're in Southwest France in Toulouse with Negrette from, or on l'appelle Negrette is what they call it, from an Arbeau, who is a badass woman boss. Actually, I don't really like the term woman boss, so we'll just say badass woman winemaker in the area that inherited it from her family in 2004, I think. She's like a PhD in fluid mechanics or worked for the French car company that escapes my mind right now, and decided to come back and make wine. And for the last 15 minutes, I speak French, not great, but used to live there for a long time, can speak it. Have been trying to figure out the front of this label so I could translate it for y'all, and I'm not doing a great job. I'm pretty sure it's like a mix of different names, because I know at the end it says et ici chez elle à Toulouse on l'appelle Negrette, and that means and here at my house, or at the house of Anne in Toulouse, they call it Negrette. So I'm pretty sure it's like, I don't know if it's like a mixture or how you would describe all the things that Negrette could be. It's like a very not typical grape to find. That's just my guess, because I do know that some of these are grapes. The one that I find is funny is, Pinot Noir from California, Pinot Noir de Californie, Feuille Noir, Negrette, Cap de Mur. Not really sure, but my guess is it has something to do with styles, or I don't know. Hopefully someday I'll meet her and I can ask, and I'll tell y'all for sure. But yeah, so she makes some outstanding wines from a region that is very famous for kind of like bulk, plonk, filler, I guess you would say, French wines. And she takes them, makes them beautiful, and sets them up in a way so that you can actually see what the real like terroir of Southwest France can be and these grapes. Because if you have like a Vin de France and it doesn't say what the grapes are on it, it might have Negrette in it, which is this grape, but it's never going to specifically say that. And it's probably blended with a bunch of other stuff. So all that background, let's dive in. It's super dark to start, and I think it's 2019, so has a little bit of age, but really not very much. All right, on the nose, it's honestly like, it's like the first thing I get is mineral. I don't know if it's like chalky. It's like a lot of stuff. It's chalky, it's gravelly. It's definitely like pungent in the way that, like I was just saying on another video, how like Italian wines are kind of like, hey, I'm here, like pay attention to me, versus French wines are normally a little bit more like smooth, yes, in flavor and texture sometimes, but more just smooth in like their approach, like, hello, I'm here. And this one I would say is somewhere in the middle. So the fruit is definitely there. I would say it's mainly darker cherries, but still kind of like sour, a little bit like zingy. Again, like, it's almost like a little fighting wine. Like it's here to be noticed, I guess I would say. And then I think it does go through some carbonic, though I'm not picking up on too many of the things I would normally get from carbonic. Like I don't really get much bubblegum or banana, but if you are getting that, then you probably know why. We'll probably sense that more on the palate, but we'll see. And yeah, it's got maybe like a little bit of leather, but more than leather, it's kind of just like a meatiness. It's kind of like a hearty wine, if that makes sense. Like that's like what I'm feeling from it so far. All right, let's try. All right. Yeah. So wine did not come to play on the palate either. So the gravel, the chalkiness, definitely still one of the first things I'm getting, but then it's like kind of deeper. It's got like plums. It's got like deep violets, I guess you could say. Well, you definitely could say some sort of floral component to it. A little bit peppery. The meatiness is actually less pronounced, I would say, on the palate than I was getting on the nose, but you can see for yourself. And yeah, the finish is really like, the finish is not fruit. The finish is like, what I'm left with is this earthy, gravelly, maybe like a little bit baking spicy leftover feeling, not like, and no plum, no anything else. So it's interesting. It's like, I don't know, this sounds so silly, but it feels like a working man's wine. Like it's like a hearty, like a workhorse of a wine, if that makes sense. Which should be really fun for pairing, because this is very not typical. Like I think I've only had one other Negrette in my life, and it was when I was in Southwest France. And it wasn't even pure Negrette. It was like that plus, I don't know, 2 or 3 other grapes. So it's really interesting to see what it's like by itself, because it is all kinds of things. Like it's hard to describe. But hopefully I did a decent job illustrating it for you. So as far as like pairings go, you could go in a lot of directions with this, but I kind of feel like, you know, in the vein of saying this is like a little workhorse wine, I want to put it with like some red meats. Not like, the tannin structure is not such that I'd put it with like, you know, hearty steak or anything, but I love the idea of it with like, is it like rib roast? I don't know, like brisket. I love just generally with like smoked meats. I love the idea of it with smoked meats, whether it's ham, no, what's called, whether it's pork or beef. Love that idea. Yeah, barbecue generally I think could be good. Then I don't know. I really want it with meat. Maybe also like, you know, shiitake mushroom style stuff. If you're gonna throw that on the grill, I think it could be good. You could put it with, this is just one of those wines where like I don't see it with like pastas or stuff. I see it with something where it's like, here's the meat, or you know, meat replacement style thing. Here's your vegetable, and here is your starch. So rice or potatoes, some sort of vegetable, and some sort of meat. That's what this one is here for. So really cool example. If you've not had Negrette before, I think that you're going to be very surprised by what it is, because I don't think it's like anything else you've probably tried before. And it's lovely. She just does a great job. And I think that I'm really excited for the way that she's representing, you know, not just the bulk plonk of what you can get from that region, but what it really is. So enjoy.